Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love and mercy more than life. America, America, may God the gold refine till our success be nobleness and every gain divine.
Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.
Our unity is a great weapon in this fight, and by acting together to create a new and single Department of Homeland Security, we'll be sending this world a signal that the Congress and the administration will work together to protect the American people.
We have an incredible workforce throughout our department. Our personnel across the country and around the world are talented, selfless, hardworking, and dedicated to mission. Our work to make people feel safe and secure enables them to live the rich, full lives that is the privilege of a free people.
We are more fit for purpose than at any point in our 20-year history.
Hello? Oh, it does work. All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Department of Homeland Security's 20th Anniversary and Secretary's Award Celebration. I am Myung Kim, the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Transportation Security Administration, and I am pleased to serve as one of your MCs. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome the attendees here today. Welcome to the award winners, their guests, DHS plank holders, and all of our DHS and component colleagues. I would like to say a special thank you to our hosts. Thank you to San Antonio International Airport for your support and Lackland Air Force Base. And a special thank you also to the TSA Canine Training Center. Thank you, Zeb, Steve, and your staff for all of the hard work and dedication that it took to make this award ceremony happen. On this special occasion, I'm reminded of a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. So service is what I think of when I reflect upon the creation of DHS and when I think about the 240,000 plus individuals who make up DHS. The dedication the workforce has to the mission and the sacrifices they make each and every day to protect the homeland, to help people, to serve. Service is also what I think of when I think of the Secretary's Award winners, because it is through their accomplishments they live the mission of DHS. With honor and integrity, we will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. It's a promise that's ingrained into each and every one of us. At this time, please direct your attention to the screen behind me for two special messages.
"20 years ago, I asked Congress to join me in creating a new, unified department with an overriding and urgent mission, securing the homeland of America and protecting the American people. The Department of Homeland Security was established in the largest government restructuring since World War II. The people who work at DHS come to work every morning knowing their most important job is to protect their fellow citizens. You've worked tirelessly and effectively to do just that. I thank you for your service to our country and for the sacrifices you have made in the pursuit of keeping your neighbors safe. Keep it up, and may God bless you."
Hello to my friends, former colleagues, and fellow public servants, patriots all. We come together for today's capstone event to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Department of Homeland Security. It is an honor to be a part of today's ceremonies. 20 years ago seems like yesterday to me, when President Bush called upon me to leave my post as Pennsylvania's governor to serve in the White House Office of Homeland Security, my second draft notice. I accepted the call to duty, which all of you here today understand. Many of you have answered a similar call to serve our country, and to do so making significant changes in your personal and professional lives. On September 11th, our nation was attacked by terrorists, a horrible manifestation of evil. We wanted to join the effort to fight back. Led by President Bush, our nation responded in a nonpartisan call to action. Our joint determination to protect the homeland from all future terrorist attack was our absolute priority. All options were on the table, and during this remarkable time in our history, the blueprint for today's Department of Homeland Security was forged. I will never forget going to Capitol Hill in April of 2002 with draft legislation to create DHS, and being greeted by all four leaders of Congress, Republican and Democrat alike, who said, "We will get this done." In less than a year, legislation was enacted that constituted the largest reorganization of the federal government since the Joint System of Command was formed by our military leaders after World War II. Monumental change was called for, and the results have been a stronger and safer America. In the first days of DHS, we referred to our colleagues as plank holders. Every detail of standing up the new department required tremendous attention to all the details and tremendous effort. We had challenges with our facilities, our budget, and congressional jurisdictional issues. And I realized that even today, you face many of the same challenges. As I have stayed in close contact with my successors and many of the men and women with whom I proudly served originally, what has never changed is the total commitment to protect our citizens. The dedication of the public servants at DHS, with all of the pressures of a still young government agency, is unmatched in our federal government. DHS remains the epicenter of so many of the most difficult security and political challenges. And yet you serve your country with integrity and without complaint. I'm truly blessed to have served one of the nation's best, and I know that today's DHS workers continue the tradition of selfless service to our country. We celebrate today with optimism that our department will continue to protect us from terrorists, help us recover from the challenges of nature, and deal smartly and compassionately with immigration. You are on the front lines of so many of our nation's health and security issues. I believe you are responding with full measure. God bless you all and your families, and thank you for building on the foundation of public service that was laid in response to 9/11. Thank you.
At this time, please stand and join me in welcoming to the podium the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, the Honorable John K. Tien.
Thanks very much, Myung. How's the sound check? Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you. How's the sound check back there? Thumbs up? Roger that. Okay, thumbs up all over the place over here. Maybe I'll just do that more as my a way to do a little bit of a hype thing, get the crowd on my side. We good? Thumbs up? Can you hear me? Yeah, that's good. It's really good affirmation. I appreciate that. First, Myung, great job already introducing the videos, and thank some of the folks here. Let me add my thanks too, also to the San Antonio International Airport, to Lackland Air Force Base, to the 341st Training Center, Team Dog, as I was introduced over there earlier this morning. In particular, obviously, to TSA, to Zeb, and to all of your great handlers and trainers within the TSA Canine Training Center program. We appreciate you. And a particular shout out, I don't think they can understand me. If they do, you are really training these dogs well. But thanks to the troops who I saw today, they go by Bingo, King, Julius, and Miss Fancy. They really deserve a round of applause. So do their human handlers. So a quick round of applause for them. It's pretty cool up there in the video that our great Secretary Ali Mayorkas, you heard his narration over there, and you saw. I've seen that video several times. It never gets old for me. And I just noticed sitting here at the CTC, the Canine Training Center, I was like, whoa, there are a lot of canine friends up there doing the hard business and good business of helping to safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. Now, Myung, our great Deputy Chief of Staff at TSA, introduced the two videos that you just saw from President George W. Bush, and also from, I always say Governor Ridge, but Secretary Ridge, who spoke very eloquently about what it was like back in the 9/11, 2001. Now, a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to revisit one of the other sites where a horrific, nefarious act took place, and that was actually in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I'm getting some head nods here in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where United 93 was taken to the ground. And of course, if you know the history at all of there, 33 passengers and 7 crew members were victims and murdered that day. It's a beautiful memorial, an important memorial, but again, it reminded me, and of course reminds all of us every day, it's a National Park Service memorial, of the importance of remembering 9/11/2001 in the right way and at the right times. And that right time continues today. Why? Because the Department of Homeland Security was born both out of tragedy and necessity. The tragedy and necessity that we discovered on 9/11/2001. What's really interesting, and you heard both the Secretary Ridge, and also President speak about the fact that it was only 20 years ago. It seems like yesterday, Governor Ridge said. And 20 years ago, not so much today, but 20 years after 9/11/2001, Secretary Mayorkas, so just do your math, if it's 20 years after 9/11/2001, it's 9/11/2021. Secretary Mayorkas had been in office for about 6 months or 8 months at that point in time. He went to New York City. He went to Ground Zero and received a flag from the New York Police Department at Ground Zero. They gave him this flag. The secretary steps back, takes a breath. I'm his deputy at the time. He takes a breath. He comes back with it, and he tells all of us across the department, particularly the great management director, and said, this flag belongs to the Department of Homeland Security. This flag belongs to our employees, our colleagues who are serving on the front lines that Governor Ridge just spoke about. He said, I would like to share this flag. We can't share this flag every single day with everybody within the department, 260,000 strong across the entire United States of America and in several international locations. But we can find a way to share this flag in a representative way. So where did it go? It went on federal law enforcement training center runs, carrying the guide on, moving out with it across America in a bunch of different offices. Here it is up on the Flexi runs down in Glencoe, Georgia. It went to Coast Guard cutters afloat. The colors get raised every day with the Coast Guard cutters. I know we have some Coasties in here today. It went to the White House. And in the stillness of the Rose Garden was unfurled there. And it went to offices across our nation in DHS. In particular, it went to here, the Canine Training Center. And so right outside, as you all moved in here, you came in, and on your right, you had the CTC, and on your left, there were memorials, and obviously you came into the room. This flag has been shared with the rest of the Department of Homeland Security. Where is it now, you might ask? It went across all of DHS. It now sits in our memorial entrance, our ceremonial entrance in the headquarters of the Department of Homeland Security, which is in the District of Columbia, right across the Anacostia River. We see the Washington Monument, we see the Capitol, we can see the White House, and it sits in our memorial entrance and our ceremonial entrance here. The Secretary, 20 years to the date after our department was formed on March 1st, 2003, he unveiled it. We took you can see it right off of the left shoulder of Secretary L.A. Mayorkas. There's me with our CISA director, Jen Easterly. This is on the day of March 1st, 2023, so essentially at the 20th anniversary. It sits right next to a piece of wreckage from the Twin Towers. It's very moving, and it is a reminder of why we're here and why Myung so eloquently just stated the mission that with honor and integrity, we will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. Now, you have become the legacy of the Department of Homeland Security. You are a living legacy to what happened 23 years ago, 22 years ago. In you represent what we need to continue to do to ensure that we are safeguarding the American people, our homeland, and our values. But you are also doing something else. In you are helping us remember, you're helping us memorialize, and you're helping us make sure that all of the folks who died on 9/11, 2001, to include some who continue to perish as a result of 9/11. Some of them were folks who were at Ground Zero, or who perhaps went into the Pentagon and died as a result of all of the different explosive materials and difficult materials that they were exposed to. There are also folks that we have lost across the department, across the United States of America, across our military forces, across our other federal agencies and offices as well. They perhaps were gunned down by drug traffickers in the Caribbean. They perhaps died aboard ships or on planes or on duty or on patrols. You are remembering them, and it's in you who exemplifies what is the very best of America. Now, what I usually like to do at this point in the speech is to try to acknowledge all of you. Now, we're live streaming to the entire department. I could go one by one to all 260,000 by name, and I got some fear here. People are like, sir, I don't think that was not in the speech. But there's an interesting way to go through and try to do, a few groups of folks, just as a way to sort of feel how we are together collectively as a family. So I'm going to call out three groups, and I'll ask you to stand. I'll ask you to come up, put on a mic. No, I won't have you do that. But I will probably ask you a quick question to each one of you, and it'll be very quick. And all you have to do is say your name and then the question to my answer. So the first is, as you heard Governor Ridge speak about a term called plank holders. Plank holders. These are the OGs of the department. These are folks who were on March 1st, 2003, the official date of the Department of Homeland Security being stood up, were working in the Department of Homeland Security. Now, likely, many of them were part of a legacy organization, an organization that had been around since the mid-1800s, the Secret Service or the Coast Guard. It's been around for 233 years or something like that. Or perhaps we've got, obviously, we're in the land of TSA, folks who were in there as TSA stood up just a year or two before the department was stood up. They all know that in terms of their origin story in the, over at the Department of Transportation. Those folks are called plank holders. On March 1st, 2003, there were 22 different organizations and 180,000 employees of Department of Homeland Security. Today, there are still, out of that 180,000, 32,000 plank holders still serving today. Some of them are in this room. I know there's 3, so 3 of them are going to stand up for sure. But I would ask that if you are serving in a legacy organization or in a TSA, or you were literally a day one hire in the Department of Homeland Security, can you please stand up? I know I got Leon, Maggie, all right, Tom, they're standing up. Okay, and this is the way this is going to go. I'm just going to say, I'm going to turn, I know these 3 are well trained because we're going to be talking to them here in a minute. I'm just going to say, what's your name? What's your organization?
Tommy Honor, I'm assigned here to Canine Training Center.
Great, Leon.
Leon Infante, TSA.
Maggie Robinson McGee, TSA.
Super. And please keep standing.
Damiano, TSA.
Edith Calder, TSA. Ryan Bromley, TSA.
Adam Mays, TSA.
Stefano Papatsakis, TSA. Ralph Temple, TSA. Terry Asher, TSA.
Gloria Chavez, U.S. Border Patrol.
Chief, good to see you again.
Monica Williams, Customs and Border Protection Office of Field Operations.
Roger that.
Scott Mitchell, Canine Training Center.
Right.
Paul Garcia, TSA, NCTC.
Okay.
Tony Bryson, UCIS.
Sarah?
Sarah Kendall, USCIS.
Super. Sir, behind.
Paul Byrne, GSA.
Super. Do we have any other state? There we go.
Patricia Mancha, TSA. I was with Immigration Services.
Roger that. We'll start up here to the front.
Robert Hagan, Enforcement Rule Operations.
Okay.
Angelita Rodriguez, ICRO.
Sorry, I had to make you stand.
You're
If you got to sit down, go ahead.
Patrick Day, Legacy Border Patrol, Iceland.
Roger that.
John Mesa, Legacy Border Patrol, Iceland.
Terrific.
Craig Larrabee, HSI, Legacy Customs.
Craig, thanks.
Marcos Charles, Legacy Border Patrol, ICRO.
Marco, great. Joanne?
Joanne McLean, ICE, Legacy INS.
Dave?
Dave Olson, Federal Protective Service. Hello, Marcos Esparza, U.S. Border Patrol, Rio Grande Valley Sector.
Thanks, Michael.
Hello, Jose Castro, Home Patrol. Mario Ortiz, USCIS, former INS.
Now, sometimes what I do here, we won't do here, it's, there's great news is we have so many plank holders. You know, sometimes I make, we start with 31, go all the way down. We'll do it really quick. I know I got a 39 years, is that what you say? 38. Anybody beyond 38? Oh my gosh, okay.
45 combined with Coast Guard.
Oh, roger that. Any others? All right, terrific. Round of applause for our plank holders. Thanks for your long, continuous service. I'm always in a competition, only in my own head, for looking for folks. Right now, no one has topped, you're getting closer, a 49-year veteran of federal service. He started in the Air Force. I think he hates it, but I'm not sure he does, actually. Is Glenn Podolsky. He's our acting deputy for our Science and Technology Director, and he's up in Washington, D.C. So he's at 49 years. I was supposed to meet somebody who had 50 years, but it's pretty cool. And thanks for your service, both in the Coast Guard here in DHS. Okay, the second group, we're going to sort of similar piece is, and I don't do this just because I happen to be a military veteran. There is we do think, the Secretary and I do think, that it is a great tribute to the Department of Homeland Security that with our mission to safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values, that we really do believe, the Secretary and I and others before us do believe, that Department of Homeland Security really is a great way for veterans who are active duty, reserve, National Guard, to continue their mission of service to the United States of America, to raise their hand again in a different way for a different mission to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. So I would ask that anybody who is currently active duty, currently National Guard, reserve, or had ever served in the military service prior, and now you are in DHS, to stand up. And I'm already standing up. So I got me, all right, we got a few others. Yes, a bunch. And here at the, especially at the CTC, I think we've got a bunch of folks that are coming over here. Robert. Oh yeah, so I'm sorry, the question is, these are all great troops. They're like, sir, you got to give me the order. So the question is your name and what was your military service?
The Marine Corps, Robert Norman II.
Robert Norman II, Marine Corps. Tom.
Tommy Honor, Air Force.
Air Force. Zeb.
Zeb Polacic, Marine Corps.
Marine Corps, who? All right.
Terry Asher, Army Reserve.
Roger that.
Ralph Temple, active duty Army and Reserves.
Oh, and Reserve.
Ryan Bromley, Marine Corps.
Damiano, Air Force.
Okay, sir.
Taiwan Down, retired Navy.
Nestor Canales, U.S. Army.
Daryl Hackett, Air Force.
Ma'am.
Norma Infante, U.S. Navy.
Sir.
Adam Reynoso, Navy Reserve.
Bill Greer, United States Air Force, retired.
Roger that.
Jeff Berry, Marine Corps.
Okay. Greg.
Army active, Greg Halter, Army active, and Coast Guard Reserves still.
Bill. This is my team there, so they're like, oh, he's going to call me out.
Air Force.
Roger that. Back here, any? Yeah.
Please. Alfredo Conde, U.S. Army.
Yep.
Amy Robertson, Army and National Guard, retired.
Awesome. Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Bobby, you're active duty?
Bobby LaPointe, U.S. Coast Guard. Steve Lopez, Air Force.
Okay, we'll go back here. Dave again?
Yeah, Dave Olson, retired USAF. Jose Castro, Marine Corps Reserve.
Super, sir.
Jose Rosado, Army Reserve.
Awesome.
George Colley, U.S. Army.
Army.
Patrick Day, U.S. Army.
Pedro Perez, U.S. Navy.
Super.
Braden Williams, U.S. Navy.
Cool.
John Garvin, Air Force.
Lauren Fulton, Army.
Awesome.
Leslie Pupoy, United States Navy.
Great. Sir.
Mike Segner, Army.
Great. John Tien, United States Army. Thanks. Round of applause. It is a great way to continue the mission and to wear the colors of the United States of America again. Okay, last stand up, sit down. And this doesn't always necessarily, don't always have a big population here. And it's the hardest population sometimes to get stand up. But I think we got a few in here, I'm just guessing. One of the things that the Secretary so eloquently says, and certainly for us in the military, for me it really resonated, which is about family members. And the Secretary often says, when we serve, we all serve. When we serve, we all serve. So if there's anybody in here who is a family member of a DHS employee, could you please stand up? Yeah, family member of a DHS. So if you're a guest today and you came to see your loved ones acknowledged, please stand up. And so I would just ask if you could say who your name, and then who you're with here to celebrate, ma'am.
Michelle, I'm with Mike Sigler.
Okay, great.
My name is Antonio, and I'm
Good job.
my name is Karina, and I'm with my dad.
Thank you.
I'm Jill Britt. I'm with my husband, Michael Britt.
Awesome. Behind you.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Piquet. I'm here with my husband, Leslie Piquet with U.S. Customs.
Thank you.
Franklin Vilsack. I'm here with my wife Jessica Perez Vilsack, Border Patrol.
Super.
Hi, Courtney Hagan. I'm here with my husband, Robert.
Awesome. Ma'am.
Heather Lee, here with my husband, Stephen Lee for ICR.
Terrific. Sir.
Edgar Brown, I'm here with Warren Hilton.
Awesome. What's your name, honey?
Tula.
Tula. Awesome.
Ethel Colley with my husband, George.
Awesome. Thank you.
Rachel Garza with my husband, Cody Garza.
Thank you.
Delia Ruiz with my husband, Ismael Arreola.
Awesome.
Jane Greer with my husband, Dr. Greer.
Thank you.
Estela Reynoso with my husband.
Super.
And Tiffany with my wife, Maggie Robinson McGee.
Cool.
Norma Infante with my husband, Tien Infante.
Okay, great. You're here to see how great they're going to do on the panel. All right. I was like, round of applause for our family members. Now, thank you for going through that. It's a nice way to see how we represent all of ourselves here at the Department of Homeland Security. We could have done the whole component thing, gone across the board, but we're actually going to get to see a video and hear a little bit more about the different missions within the Department of Homeland Security as well. Now, where have we been over the last 20 years, right? You know, clearly, as I said before, the department was born both out of tragedy and necessity. I love the quote from President Bush when he said, he talked about the job was going to be about protecting the American citizens. What a great job. What a morally higher code type of job. Well, you know, he just said that in his, he was obviously in his ranch, you know, down there. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, up there in Texas, up near Austin. But in 2002, he actually said something very similar. He said he envisioned a community where he, and I quote this from the department, employees of this new agency will come to work every morning knowing their most important job is to protect their fellow citizens. Now, then, especially in the aftermath of 9/11/2001, we were, of course, very focused on the foreign terrorist threat, Al-Qaeda in particular, and we created a department out of 22 different organizations, 180,000 people. But over time, we have had to develop. We have had to evolve. We have had to become better, smarter, faster, and more efficient and effective to deal with the ever-growing evolution of threats to the United States of America. Not only did we need to, we should have, right? Because that was the oath of office that we took to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. So back then it was foreign terrorists. Today, the threats are myriad. All of you who sit here in uniform or sit here as career federal officers or as employees of the Department of Homeland Security know that these threats are ever evolving. Cyber threats, threats from domestic violent extremism, threats from those who are inspired by foreign terrorists abroad. So how are we dealing with this? We are creating new organizations and new capabilities across the Department of Homeland Security to deal with domestic violent extremism, to try to get to the left of the event. We created the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnership, more commonly known within the department as CP3. And then for the cyber threats, certainly in TSA, you all know this so well in terms of the cyber threats, in particular to our air, rail, and pipeline. And everybody remembers, of course, the threats to the pipeline, to Colonial Pipeline. You have your cyber authorities, and you have your cyber security regulations and directives. And so we also created the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. The other thing that this president spoke about, President George W. Bush spoke about, was it was the third largest, or was the largest restructuring ever, and that has essentially created the third largest department within the federal government, 260,000 people. We're also the third most forward deployed in international arenas as well. I know I can certainly speak to the choir literally when I talk to TSA about the need, and also to my OFO, to my folks who are in OD green, who are in blue, and who are in khaki, who absolutely know that you want to push the border out and make sure that we are creating as much buffer space for the United States of America as possible. But today at DHS, we have 8 big components who represent all of these things that we do. We have CBP, obviously securing our borders and promoting lawful trade and travel. We have FEMA delivering heroic relief in the face of natural disasters, as well as providing resilience to our communities. We have the U.S. Coast Guard. Again, we have a couple coasties here, and it looks like we've got a couple retired coasties in here as well. TSA, we've spoken about you many times, air, rail, and pipelines. USCIS, I know, is in the House, who provide safe, orderly, and humane immigration. ICE, our Immigration Customs Enforcement folks, who help support the United States of America and safeguard us both through ERO and HSI. The Secret Service, who are providing both our protectee mission as well as safeguarding America's financial infrastructure sector. And then finally, CISA, that I spoke about before, advancing our cyberspace security. Where do we go in the future with this? The foreign adversaries, unfortunately, will continue to find ways to threaten America, to take nefarious acts, to strike at the very heart of our American systems, in particular against our critical infrastructure. So again, why we as a department need to continue to evolve, not just our capabilities, but the way we think about countering those particular threats. I began this speech and these comments to all of you about referencing Old Glory, about referencing that flag, which sits now at the headquarters of the Department of Homeland Security. Know this, that is the symbol of why America is one of the greatest democracies in the world and why it is so important that all of you, that all of us at the Department of Homeland Security continue to do our missions individually so that we indeed will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. Thank you.
For 9/11, like most Americans, it's a day I'll never forget. Saw on the news the first plane hit the tower.
And I could see the Twin Towers, smoke coming out of one of the towers. I realized something was really wrong.
When the second plane hit, we were in the office in the meeting, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, doors open up, Secret Service came in, the Vice President came in, and then we went to work.
Getting out of my building after being locked down for 8 hours and watching the Pentagon burn.
Of course, the Pentagon tragically was hit in proximity to many of the offices that I was affiliated with. After about 2 days, I called the office at the Pentagon and said, this is Lieutenant Colonel Ken Clark, I'm just checking in. And the person on the phone said, Colonel Clark, we thought you were dead.
Creating the department was key to responding to the terrorist attacks of 9/11, to bringing all these diverse agencies together under one roof so they could focus on the mission of Homeland Security.
The 22 agencies that all came together as part of the Department of Homeland Security, it was very important to improve the synchronization.
Governor Ridge at the time, he knew it was a challenge, but he said we can do it, because we needed to protect the homeland.
And the mission of the department was to, prevent another terrorist attack like 9/11.
So it was a lot of challenges trying to figure out, okay, how you gonna get everybody on the one hat, one location, to do the job.
Many of the departments that came had their own autonomy, and to get them to be part of the department, to be part of the same team.
The fact that you had 22 different departments and agency elements that had to come together.
To get everyone operating on the same page, understanding that we're now focused on a different mission set.
Because we all had the same drive, because we all had the same love for the nation and love for the public, we felt like we needed to come together.
We protect the American people and enhance the nation's economic prosperity by safeguarding U.S. borders.
We serve as the research and development arm of DHS.
We lead the national effort to understand, manage, and reduce risk to our cyber and physical infrastructure.
We integrate intelligence into operations across DHS components and to our partners to identify, mitigate, and respond to threats.
We lead efforts and coordinate with domestic and international partners to safeguard the U.S. against commercial chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear IED enhancements and health security threats.
We protect the nation's transportation systems to ensure freedom of movement for people and commerce.
We enforce the nation's laws at sea, protecting the marine environment and the nation's vast coastline and ports.
We provide enterprise situational awareness, a common operating picture, information sharing, and decision support on threats, incidents, and events impacting the homeland.
The Federal Law Enforcement Training Centers, through strategic partnerships, prepares the federal law enforcement community to safeguard America's people, property, and institutions.
We preserve national security and public safety through criminal investigations and enforcing immigration laws.
We help people before, during, and after disasters.
We ensure the safety and security of the nation's highest elected leaders and protect the financial and critical infrastructure of the United States.
We uphold America's promise as a nation of welcome and possibility with fairness, integrity, and respect for all we serve.
And I remember telling my daughter, if I don't get up in the plane on the anniversary on 9/11 and go where I need to go to do work for the department, then we're letting them win.
I miss holidays and snow days with my family, but it's okay because someone has to make the sacrifice, and I'm glad that I had the circumstances to be able to make that sacrifice.
Moving from place to place because of different assignments and roles and responsibilities has taken its toll on my family. But all in all, they know it's for the greater good, and they've been there to support me and has continued to support me.
Every day, DHS does something to make you and America safer.
We've been moving really quickly in these last 20 years. We've accomplished a lot. We've merged so many agencies together under one mission and one banner.
Our mission will be to conduct scientific research in the Arctic to understand how it's changing and how it affects the rest of the world, really.
I believe wholeheartedly in the role that DHS plays in national security.
It's an amazing organization. You won't find too many people that don't feel the passion to actually be part of Homeland Security.
We are a team. There's no I in the work at DHS. It's everybody showing up to do their function so that everybody's function can be the best it can be.
But if you ask me would I do it again, in a heartbeat.
With honor and integrity,
we will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values.
We are DHS.
Many employees across DHS have been with the department since it was established in 2003. Our department was built on a foundation of employees we call plankholders. Joining Deputy Secretary Tien are 3 DHS plankholders who will share reflections on the last 20 years and the future of our department. Please welcome back Deputy Secretary Tien, and please join me in welcoming from the Transportation Security Administration, Leon Infante, Maggie Robinson McGee, and Tom Yonner.
That's great. The plank holder concept has been reverberating obviously all day here. Obviously, we had a chance to speak before. You stood up, and we know you're all from TSA across the time. They all joined in the early action program when they were 15. So that's why they look so young, but the fact that they could have served for 20 years. I'm joking around a little bit, but tell us a little bit. We'll ask all of you the same questions. I'll go Leon, Maggie, Tom. And the question to all of you, this first question is, what inspired you to join public service in the first place? Leon.
When 9/11 happened, I have an aunt that should have been at the Pentagon when the plane hit. Luckily for me, she had transferred to San Antonio, was placed in charge of the space program over here. So because of that, I felt the need to serve.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you. Maggie.
I have a similar story, as a matter of fact. I was actually in New York City on September 10th, 2001, and just knowing that I was so close to maybe possibly either being there or, God forbid, something worse happening, it really struck such a chord with me. And my father, who was a San Antonio police officer, had told me that the government was going to be taking over airport security and I should look into it. And so I did, so here I am 20 years later.
Wow, Dad was right. Okay, we rarely are right, so we'll take this on this one. Okay, Tom.
My story is not as exciting as the other two. I joined the military very young, joined the Air Force very young. I was a lost child. But what the military does for you, as you know, is it teaches you a sense of integrity and sense of doing something more, stepping forward, and being that person that just does the right thing. And so when I retired from the military, it was only natural for me to step into a role as an instructor in the Canine Training, well, before it was a Canine Training Center, it was FAA. So that's where I'm landed.
It's great. And again, I think it demonstrates, Zeb, you, all of the rest of the CTC know this so well, where we have, similar missions, we literally have similar needs in terms of our security, and to some extent, what TSA does, especially on, what was it? I think Zeb, you said it, and also the Colonel said it, is every day our great canines go out there and are executing the mission every single day in a repetitive fashion. So they are truly work dogs, work horses, work dogs. So well done. Well, I'll start back over here and ask you, Leon. In the early days, now, you know, Governor Ridge up there, and I've heard him a number of times speak about this, that he came to work at the Nebraska Avenue Complex, which is a pre-war facility up in the northwest part of DC. And, you know, in 2002, 2003, as the department's standing up, you look across DC, and even though it was 20 years ago, there's just these edifices, the Pentagon, the State Department at Foggy Bottom. They're just big granite buildings. They've got working elevators. They have offices that make sense. The facility ratio makes sense in terms of cubic foot towards people. But none of that was designed for DHS. And he remembers that literally you would walk out and there would be people putting chairs together. He's an old Marine, and you know, he was helping with that. So, you know, what was the early days of DHS like, Leon?
The early days of TSA, we had a hard time getting everything situated. We had to learn how to do everything right off the bat, as opposed to right now where you learn part and then part later. But one of the challenges that we had early on was when we originally started to ban the liquids. The 311 went into effect overnight. Upper management was in meetings all through the night. And literally 30 minutes before we opened up the checkpoint, they made a decision to eliminate all liquids that day, even for crew members.
That's amazing. I got sort of chill bumps just listening to you. And I mean, we all remember, those who are old enough, certainly in this room, remember. Now we just take it as commonplace, right? But it's really about evolution that we spoke about before. And so let's progress along the timeline a little bit, and I'll go to Maggie and say, look, over the last 20 years, we've continued to see the threat change and have more challenges. What have you seen for challenges, and how do we overcome it here in DHS and TSA? Maggie?
Well, we combine two things, teamwork and technology. As threats tend to evolve, way back when we only had metal detectors instead of body scanners and so on, we had to kind of just take it day by day. And again, as threats continue to happen, you know, Richard Reed and the whole shoe thing, we had to adapt to that and evolve as far as the technology goes and what our procedures are, or were at the time. So it was great to just bear witness to that, because being there at the very beginning and being very young myself, I've evolved as a person, and so it was great to just see the evolution of like technology and how that really does play just a vital role in everything that we do. And so going from metal detectors to the first era body scanners, where we actually saw like your whole X-rayed body, to the more advanced technologies that we have now, it's just been really great to see how we've been able to, I mean, on a dime, like Leon said about the whole liquid thing, that happened overnight. And the very next morning, we had no choice. We just had to do it. And so as long as we're able to take those two things, teamwork and technology, and just take it day by day, I think we've done a fantastic job, and we'll continue to do so. And so I'm very proud to have been with the organization as long as I have, and continue to do so for, who knows, maybe 20 more years.
You're fantabulous. I know your wife thinks that. You know, you said teamwork and technology. I think it's also innovation meets patriotism, right? You know, because this is, Maggie and I were talking before, along with Tom and Leon, about some of these ideas that she has seen and both of them have seen evolve over the course of time. And, many people say, the mother of all invention, is necessities. That's what's driving it. But you really, the three of you, I think, embody and are exemplars of real thought leaders, right? You're leaders, and you're also thought leaders because you step back, you take a breath, you see a problem. It might be something tactical in the day, but it's also, where's the opportunity value? Because unfortunately, I'm a clear-eyed realist, being a 3-time combat veteran. It's a dark, cold, nasty, brutish world out there, and there are people who want to do America harm. And we really need the Leon, Maggies, and Toms of the world being thinking people and doing people. And so thank goodness all three of you are fantabulous. Tom, let's go to the future. You're, I won't say your age, you told me, you old Air Force veteran, but we'll just say he's the oldest one on the panel. And so we picked, I gave them all choices of which questions do you want to go after. And I said, someone's got to tell the future generations of DHS employees, perhaps some of them sitting in this room, right? Mom knows who I'm talking about. I will not make you come up and do it. So as you're speaking to this next generation of folks, what advice do you have for them as they become, or maybe currently are, and the entry-level DHS employees?
That's an easy comment. It's learning.
Yeah.
It's continuous learning. It's funny listening to my colleagues talk about the technology and the advances in technology. A lot of times people don't look at the dog, at the canine as technology. And it is something that we're advancing every day, and there's something to learn every day. So here at CTC anyways, we are continually questioning ourselves, questioning our colleagues. What could we do better? What did you think? You were out there this morning. You saw some of them work. It's inspiring to watch the new people that come in with all the information and knowledge they have, and especially the ones that are willing to learn more.
Yeah, that's a really good point about wanting to learn, to be lifelong learners. Because again, I think as Maggie and Leon and you just noted, is the conditions are going to change, the environment's going to change, the threats are going to change, and we have to keep an eye on technology. We have to keep an eye on things like artificial intelligence. Where is that going to play, both on the threat side and what we can do, especially in terms of making sure that we are doing right by our privacy rights and by our civil rights and civil liberties. But the communities and the environment's going to change. And so we want them to be lifelong learners, to always be asking questions. I got a chance to meet 4 of them who are going to graduate in 5 days. I think your 16-week program, Zeb and Tom, as they move through with their handlers, going places like Puerto Rico and Denver, and taking their great dogs like King and Bingo and others with them. All right, so we'll wrap it up here with one last question to all three of you, same question, which is, we'll start with Leon. Why are you proud to be at DHS, Leon?
I never served the military, so I always wanted to do something, and when 9/11 hit, I found my calling. So I'll be here as long as I can.
You wear the colors of the nation just like I did, and Tom did as well, and we appreciate that. Maggie?
Again, just to kind of piggyback on what Leon was saying for himself, I felt like I had to do it. Like there was just something about wanting to do what I could to make sure that this will never, ever, ever happen again. And coming from a military and police family, it just seemed like an easy fit for me. This is it. And I love what I do, and I'm so proud to serve the flying public. Making sure that they get to wherever they're going to get to their loved ones or vacations and so on. It's really important to me, and I take it to heart. So yeah.
You clearly do. It's I love it, a legacy of service, and your dad would be proud, or I'm sure your dad is proud. Tom, why are you proud to work at DHS?
That's a deep question. It's very deep.
Go for it.
It may sound corny,
no,
but I am very proud of not only the product that we put out here at CTC, but the 1,000+ teams that we have in the field that are out there every day doing what they need to help these folks keep the traveling public safe. I'm very proud of them. Proud of my colleagues that do it every day, come into work and put out their best effort that they possibly can. I don't know if you realize, but we had a building just about 100 yards away from here When we first started, it was a dilapidated old chow hall.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 classrooms in the basement, not downstairs, but in the basement. And we threw some chairs down there, and that's where we taught class. And look what we have today. We have state-of-the-art buildings that we operate in, the best staff that can be found. I'm proud of all of it.
Yeah, super proud of you, proud of the community that supports us. I'm really glad you brought that up, because buildings like this, facilities like this, organizations like this, the 341st, Lackland, really don't start to happen, certainly San Antonio Airport, without support from the community. And I know we've got community leaders here. I won't be able to name all of you. I think somebody from Congressman Gonzalez's office is here. Thanks very much for, this is, whatever, we'll take all the federal funding we can get for these things. But we know you support us in terms of funding, but also in terms of the spirit and how important it is to Congressman Gonzalez. So thanks to you and anybody else from the community. So I'm glad you brought that up around the facilities piece. Look, at the end of the day, the 3 of you, Leon, Maggie, and Tom, today you sat here, we said, hey, we need some plank holders to come up here and be questioned by the Deputy Secretary. And the 3 of you rushed to the front of the line and said, please give me this mic. I'm looking for my 10 minutes of fame. Or you were voluntold. And yeah, but I sat in the green room beforehand speaking to my new 3 best friends, Leon, Maggie, and Tom. And you really are exemplars for all of us in the Department of Homeland Security. And you are what I say, this is my personal tagline, you are what's best for America. So thank you. All right, we're done. Good job. They're going to move I just put those there, and they're going to move the chairs out.
All right. Thank you so much, Deputy Secretary Tien, Maggie, Tom, Leon. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and letting us really reflect on, as the Deputy Secretary said, the past, the present, and the future. I am truly honored to call you and the rest of my DHS family here colleagues. So thank you again for sharing your experiences.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Bolden. I'm the Chief Learning Officer of the Department of Homeland Security, and I'll be serving as your MC for the awards portion of our ceremony today, another great celebration of what DHS can do. Like last year, the Secretary's Awards are being presented at regional ceremonies across the country, acknowledging the exceptional work being done across this department by DHS employees. And in doing so, we will tell the stories of their accomplishments today, their contributions, and in some cases, their heroic acts. They were all done in the name of public service, and we are so honored to serve alongside these employees and have this special time to recognize their work and to have their family members here to help celebrate with us. Today, we recognize individuals and teams who have made outstanding contributions to the Department of Homeland Security and to our nation. During the ceremony, I will share a brief description of the award categories. Deputy Secretary Tien will then read the recipients' honors before he asks the awardees to join him up front to be presented with their award. After receiving their award, awardees will also get to have a short conversation with the Deputy Secretary to talk more about their meritorious work. So let's begin. Our first award category is the Secretary's Award for Team Excellence. This award recognizes any unit within the department, such as a component, directorate, office, division, or section, with outstanding team achievements in operational areas such as law enforcement, aviation, cybersecurity, border patrol, hiring, acquisition, information technology. The work will have resulted in measurable improvements in training and development and will have demonstrated an investment in the workforce to make it more capable. The work of the unit will include superior performance and significant operational improvements and/or notable innovation in support of DHS missions.
So the first Team Excellence Award goes to the Ethos Training Development Team, which was integral to designing and producing the Professional Public Service Ethos program, the first program of its kind in DHS. This program delivers on the Secretary's intent to ensure the foundation of our workforce development focuses on what it means to be a public servant. What it means to be a public servant. By the end of the calendar year 2022, nearly 12,000 employees completed the course. Please join me in recognizing from Citizenship and Immigration Services, James Greer. Go.
Oh, okay, very good. Thank you, sir.
Now, James is an old coastie, and so he's like all my other great military veterans are like, or Air Force, I'm sorry. Air Force is a grip and grin moment. We will do grip and grin and the step and repeat afterwards, James. I also, here's your microphone because we're going to have a little conversation. Sure. I do want to say quickly, we won't make Lori sing for her supper as well, but she was the person, you know, you often say, well, if you're a king for a day or a queen for a day, and you want to do X, Y, and Z, in training, what would you do? Well, Lori's the head of our learning and all of DHS. She was integral to this as well. So, but I will say this, now having been a part of the Secretary's team and providing the guidance to this, if you think about ethos, I mean, it's already a pretty, philosophical term. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle. How did you capture, and I've seen this program in action, I think it's great. How did you capture this lightning in a bottle, James?
Well, it's, this is Teamwork Excellence, Team Excellence Award.
Yep.
This is for the team. It's not about what I did. It really was being part of the team that I was assigned to because of what they designed at DHS. So first of all, it's the team, and there should be another dozen people up here with me right now, but somehow they didn't.
We're acknowledging them around the country.
But at the same time, yeah, and they are from all over the United States and across overseas. They're part of the team. So I'd really like to give them credit, number one. Number two, to the program itself, the DHS Ethos Professional Public Service Training Program, because, and it's a remarkable achievement to have standardized training to go across all the components, and then for them to actually, employ this and and implement it, as we just say in the ADDIE model, and to make it successful. So just since we've instituted this program, we've trained 3,000 people in this with our webinars. In fact, my team's teaching this very moment right now. They couldn't be here. But just kudos to you and your team to do that. I don't know how you did it, because how can you actually get anybody to agree on anything within your own component, much less all the components across DHS. So fantastic job. And I do want to say this about the people that are coming in. We have the new hires, plus we have those that transfer between DHS agencies. We also have those that change positions within the components that have to take the training if they never had it before, and the wailing of gnashing of teeth when they find out, oh, I've got to take this. But we say, come on, you got to get in there. To a T, they come in and they say, hey, look, this has been fantastic training. And then my volunteers, they're all volunteers because they are full-time trainers to boot, they come and they train out of their own time because they have full-time jobs. But when they, when I tell them, observe a few things and then volunteer for some modules, they say, hey, I'm in. I like this. This is really good. We talk about the oath of office. We talk about what it means to be a consummate public servant. And they go, I'm in, and they're there to the end. So, and then those that do go through the training, I'll let you know that the new hires, the country is safe. I can tell you that. They're a fantastic group of people coming in, as I know, well, too, that they're just, young people and older people, or seasoned people who come in are also very dedicated to this, too.
Well, James, thanks for, you talk about the oath of office. Thanks to you, you're like Governor Ridge, right? Thanks for taking the oath twice. First for the Air Force, and then here at DHS. Yes. And capturing lightning in the bottle appears to be teamwork, really.
It is.
Outstanding.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here to do this.
Well, well done. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. All right. Good job, man. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, for the, and also I wanted to make sure we've got a bit of mixture of folks who are here and couldn't be here. So James, a great teammate that he is, said there was other folks here as well, but who couldn't make it, who are on the team. And it's true, I've given out this award a few times across the nation, but one of the folks who we were hoping to be here couldn't make it today is Dean Hagerdorn, and unless he's here, I don't think so. So let's do a round of applause so we can hear on the screen. Okay, all right, for the second team award, it goes to the United States Border Patrol Rio Grande Valley RGV virtual processing team from the RGV sector, and they collaborated with the Swanton and Buffalo sectors to transform virtual processing into a high-yielding A-file mechanism that is now replicated throughout the southwest border. Their efforts have been exponentially increased virtual processing throughput, decreased critical time in custody, and boosted morale for the agents assigned to this mission across the southwest border. So as I call your name, if you're here, please come on up. Please join me in recognizing from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Jose Castro, Ana Esperanza, Marcos Esperanza, Linda Leiva, Mario Ortega, Jake Ortiz, and Jessica Vielsek. And then I think, not able to make it today, but unless Roberto's here, Roberto Zavala. Yeah, Roberto Zavala is not here. Right, so anybody else from the team? Did I miss anybody? Okay, so we'll go through. Robert here is going to help me get this. Jose Castro?
Right, sir.
All right, oh good, you guys are
Thank you very much.
so disciplined. Well done. Okay, Anna?
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, Linda, congratulations.
Thank you.
Marcos, down here. All right, well done. Yeah, you stood up before. Okay, Mara. Okay, good job. And here we go. That's all right. Jake? Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
Roger that. And Jessica. Terrific. All right, we'll do a round of applause. Someone's going to have to take the mic. Who wants to be the spokesperson? Okay, all right, yeah. They went down the line pretty quickly here. Rank hath its privileges. For anybody in the Department of Homeland Security, certainly the Secretary and me, we know you all, those who wear OD green and support those in the U.S. Border Patrol, know how important it is to get this processing moving pretty quickly. They say a necessity is the mother of all invention. We talked about with Maggie, innovation and patriotism coming together. This is one of those things where it had to happen, something had to happen, otherwise we were going to be in the ditch, as they say. So what was the big solution? What was the big thing that came and said, we're going to need this in order to get this process moving? Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm Agent Castro from the RGV sector. And during the mass migration challenge that we were facing during the time, I was entrusted to lead the Central Processing Center. But we could not do it without the men and women that are standing here besides us and our partners that are working in Swanton and Buffalo as well. Yeah. So we had to devise, and our challenge was, Joe, make sure you get out there. You got to make sure we take care of our agents from the northern coastal areas. We got to send them back home. We had over 200 agents that were assigned to us, and every other 28 days, they were coming back. It was not good for their families, their resiliency. It was causing a lot of stress back home. So that was a big challenge. How do we make sure that we still produce the amount of files that we have to in the largest, most complex, dynamic processing facility in America by reducing our resources and manpower, but coming up with an idea that we can do it remotely, right? Mm-hmm. We had been using virtual processing in the past, but we needed to fine tune it. So we leveraged resources, technology, innovation, and cooperation, and we implemented strategies that went from the most that we'd ever done was 1,000 files virtual process per month to over 9,000 within a couple of months. After that, we went to zeroed out all of our detailers from the northern and coastal. They didn't come back to RGV, and the trickle effect went from Brownsville all the way to San Diego, and the men and women could be back home with their families where they need to be, protecting our northern and coastal environments. So that was our challenge, and these men and women that are up here represent not only the time and energy that it took to put forth this plan, but also some of the greatest people within our organization. And I believe, sir, and I could stand corrected, that this is the first time that a Border Patrol Processing Coordinator receives a Secretary's Award. These ladies that are here represent that organization. It started 2 years ago, and here they are in front of us contributing to our mission and the cause. And without their support, we cannot excel during this most historic time in our history.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, history be made in front of you, and why? Because you had a great set of patriots who knew that innovation needed to happen, and you figured it out and you got it done, and now it's being replicated across the board. And I love what Joe said about it also had the human dimension of taking those folks who were TDY, temporary duty, on the border from places like Buffalo and Swanton, and then get back up on the mission on the northern border and get them back with their family members. So thanks very much. We'll give the mic to Lori.
Our next category is the Secretary's Award for Innovation. This award recognizes individuals or teams that employ a strategic and enterprise-wide approach to strengthening the Department of Homeland Security mission and its operations. The nominees should exhibit an ongoing record of high standards of achievement and innovation. The work of the nominees may have resulted in superior performance and/or significant operational impacts. The nominees' achievement or contributions should include maximizing the effectiveness of people, processes, and technologies, some of the things we just talked about, providing wise stewardship of resources, and enhancing the capabilities of DHS employees.
So the first Innovation Award goes to somebody who, in fiscal year 2022, this colleague from the DHS Office of Intelligence and Analysis created new processes that helped promote the exchange of law enforcement and intelligence community information. His work has resulted in significant operational successes at the national, state, and local levels. Please join me in recognizing to our front our very innovative colleague, Jeff Berry. Great, got it. Jeff, there he goes, there's that one. Shake your hand, and you can hold that one too.
Thank you.
And then you get a mic. That's the other thing we reward you with, which is dexterity. So Jeff, I know it all too well, INA. One of the big missions is to do information sharing with SLTT, with state, local, tribal, and territorial. Can you share some of the one or two best practices that you came up in order to make this innovation happen?
Yes. First of all, I'm Jeff Berry. I am a representative with the intelligence agency member, and we came up with a workflow that allows us to get information out to our state and locals in an expeditious manner where they could action that information against transnational organized threats within the homeland. That's pretty much all I could say about that.
Yeah, right with that. Yeah, methods and sources.
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, terrific, super innovative, and I've spoken to a lot of these SLTT partners. They're so appreciative, and also the ways you guys get it out to them. His in, but those networks. So we know relationships are important too. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. The second Innovation Award goes to FEMA's Region 6 Floodplain Management and Insurance Branch Data Analytics Team. They created a community profiles which provided strategic insight and data transparency to state, local, tribal partners. This analysis allows mitigators to inform project development for areas with the greatest need for assistance. So please join me as I say your name. Come on up to the front. From the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Lauren Fulton, John Garvin, Jeremy E. Hughes, Sabah Ismail, Justin M. McBride, Pedro R. Perez, Trey L. Rizal, Lee Janelle Schmidt, Michael R. Signar, and Braden C. Williams. And that's all. I've got a list of folks here, and if I call your name and you're not here, or you are here, then please come on up as well. So also unable to join us are Brian Bartley, John E. Bowman, Rebecca S. Dake, Darren D. Dutton, Gilbert L. Giron Jr., Nicholas J. James, Lisa G. Jennings, John Miles Jr., Matthew Valentine, and Lukeisha Williams. So any of those folks in the room? No, it doesn't appear so. So we'll do this. Robert's going to hand me these off, and you're doing a great job as adjutant, Robert. I appreciate that. So we'll go this way. Looks like Lauren. So, okay, Lauren, well done. Shake hands. There you go. Want to drop any of these cool trophies. John, well done.
Thanks, sir.
Great job. All right. Teamwork up over here. Look at this, super quick. All right, Jeremy. Yeah, we're in the right spot.
Thanks, sir.
Good job. All right, we're getting smart here. So, here you go, I'll shake hands.
Thank you.
Now I'll give you all the stuff. Thanks, Justin. All right.
Awesome.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
This is
Pedro? All right. Good job. Trey? Great, well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You guys think about who's talking? Okay. Certainty. They got a plan. Well, you're FEMA. It makes sense. All right, roger that. Okay, Braden? Braden, over here.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, well done. Thanks a lot, Robert. Michael.
Yes, sir.
Great, well done. And thanks for coming today. We appreciate it. So, as you all were hearing me talk about this, the data analytics portion, again, these are one of the things, none of us are FEMA folks. You guys literally plan in your sleep. This is like core to your mission, but you did it in support of all these communities in need. So just, can you tell us a little bit about the process that got you here to say, hey, this is what we're going to need to do in order to manipulate this big data, produce a better result for the American people.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And it's an honor to be here, and shout out to our team who can't be here. Sir, so as disasters increase in complexity and as they get more difficult to handle, the need for speed is ever evolving. And so tools and data analytics provide a lot of relief on that front. And so the big push that culminated in this effort started in Hurricane Harvey, and it's kind of iteratively evolved since then. And basically it boils down to these community profiles. They inform data-driven decisions, and that allows us to view communities, our most at-risk, most vulnerable, most impacted communities in a new perspective. So it brings attention to communities we may not have seen in the past. And so that obviously brings with it resources and assistance for survivors. So these profiles have really helped get data out there to our partners, and we're really excited to expand on the effort.
Wow, anticipation in support of America. That's pretty cool stuff. So round of applause. All right, thanks very much, team. Okay, our third innovation award goes to the Tri-Bureau Digital A-File team, who successfully coordinated extensive systems integrations between CBP, ICE, and USCIS to enable the creation of digital A-files at the southwest border. This achievement transforms the manual and resource-intensive paper A-file process and results in significant time and resource savings needed due to the surges at the southwest border. So please join me in recognizing from Customs Border Protection, Jake Ortiz. Well, Jake, you're getting quite a collection. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Jake must be, do you have family members here?
I have my girlfriend with me.
Yeah. So you really have that bigger brain? My God, it's just like, he's like, yeah, she gave a thumbs up. It was like, so yeah, I mean, a little bit on the big brain thing. I mean, what's really cool about this, and again, from headquarters, I see the need, and then all of a sudden it comes up from the front lines, a piece of innovation. But what's really great about this is that combined CBP, ICE, and USCIS. What was it like working with everybody to help drive this solution, Jake?
When we first got the team going, we're trying to figure out what's a better way of doing things. How do we make it more efficient? Yeah. How do we speed up the process? How do we not lose things, not lose files? Or make it a little harder on us. Speaking with the team, working with the headquarters team, those guys are amazing. They have a great mind, great team to put it together. So coming from the bottom, starting at RGV, we wanted to figure out, okay, what's the better practice? Mm-hmm. So coming up with things, using technology in a new way, using the things that we have on hand. Mm-hmm. That's what helped us out the most. So speaking with the USAIS team and our respective teams as well, figuring out a good way. So
that teamwork and technology thing that Maggie spoke about earlier.
What?
Fantabulous.
Fantabulous, yes. Technology goes a long way. So I'm myself a nerd a little bit. So
is he a nerd? He's a nerd. She's shaking her head.
So it's interesting. It was interesting to use like the things that we have on hand and actually seeing how technology has overcome from when I first started in 2008 and going from a paper file to now collecting digital signatures, things that are already out in the general public, but now we are able to incorporate it into our government, into how we're doing things. So collecting a digital signature and pushing the file digitally through our end to USCIS and getting it to the records to ICRO in order to get information out there quicker and making it, like I said, more efficient. So working with that, building that team, going up from there. I know now they're just starting to introduce further dispositions that we can push through digitally and make that more efficient and more getting things done quicker.
I love the fact that you all, and I know it's the whole Tribunal team from CBP, ICE, and USCIS, but you all looked at it as a complete circuit, right? As opposed to saying, well, this is the part that we do, and then like we'll just make this faster. But instead, you step back and go, how do we work together?
Exactly,
and then combine.
Make it as a team, working as a team, working together instead of, all right, here's my part, here's your part here, and it's time consuming, time wasted.
All right.
So.
Way to go. Way to be fantabulous. The fourth Innovation Award goes to the Family Assessment Support Tool team. And they developed, prototyped, and deployed an information technology system to improve the Coast Guard's ability to track and care for Coast Guard families and personnel impacted by contingency events. This tool allows the Coast Guard to streamline support services and entitlement delivery, and thereby improving the Coast Guard's overall emergency service response to the nation during crises and contingencies. Please join me in recognizing from the United States Coast Guard Chief Warrant Officer Megan Lang. Not here? What about the yeoman? Nope, they're out there dealing with contingencies, it sounds like. And then I presume Captain Chad Brick's not here either. So for the United States Coast Guard, their motto is Semper Paratus, which is Latin for always ready. And those three, the warrant officer, the yeoman, and the captain, are always ready. They're afloat somewhere, but hopefully at some point they'll be able to hear this. So let's give those three coasties a round of applause. Okay, all right, back to you.
Next, we present the Secretary's Volunteer Service Award. This award recognizes significant contributions by DHS employees who serve as volunteers with nonprofit or community service programs or activities. The employee's contributions should be direct, sustained, and have meaningful results for individuals or the larger public good.
Great. We've got three volunteer awards. The first one goes to a colleague from the Customs and Border Protection who embodies the spirit of giving back to the community. He did so by volunteering in a program which donated numerous items for school children. He also helped folks who were unable to complete household tasks alone. Who is this person? His name is Mike Britt, and he offers his own time to help others in his community. Mike? Okay. So I'm going to help you out, Mike. I'm going to hold this while you get your mic here, and I'll hand it off to you at the appropriate time. So, Mike, I actually read your longer award as well. Just tell us about one or two of your activities you want to share with the crowd and inspire us all.
Absolutely. The Restore program helps out the local community. Start with a small church. We go to a small church. We started like 3 elementary schools, and that has grown over the years. There's over 14 churches involved. We reach out to over 31 schools within the school district to provide things like backpacks, school supplies, physicals, haircuts, and other things, food as well. So also many opportunities, in the community, and we're here because we serve. So there's plenty of opportunities within your own community to serve as well. One of the nice things I've heard from people, I got the award, was that it's inspired them and encouraged them to do that as well. So I would ask everyone here, look for those. There's lots of opportunities in the community. And the other thing you mentioned with helping, we have a program where people are not able to take care of their own homes, whether it's simple extra yard work, repairing roofs, fencing, whatever it is, we will go and help those folks out. So
that's terrific, Mike. Well, it's you've helped folks like not your community, but just like you with my mom too. So we appreciate that. Well, round of applause for Mike. I know you know how to hold heavy things, so there you go.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, the second volunteer award goes to a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agent who's constantly in search of better ways to serve his community. He leads air and marine operations community service efforts in the Corpus Christi area and spends hours of his own time outside of work volunteering with the Wounded Warrior Project, it's about veterans, Special Olympics, and the Police Officer Angels organization. Please join me in recognizing from Customs and Border Protection, AMO in particular, Les Fuqua. Les, up here, I'll hold this. Right here? Yeah, right there, sir. You got the mic? Yep. I'll hold this. And look, I know a lot about Wounded Warrior Project. I actually did quite a bit with Special Olympics, and of course you're with police helping out in the community. Similar to what I asked Mike, I mean, tell us about some special moments from any of those, WWP, Special Olympics.
So I am, along with, oh wow, that's loud. Along with helping, I'm also alumni with Wounded Warrior Project. I joined them back in 2009. And they've given to me, so I felt a need to get back to them. Oh, here the Amber Alert's going off. Yeah. So fast forward to the last couple of years, I became a warrior leader, which is a volunteer with them to hold events for alumni in the Corpus Christi area. Also peer support, so we get together, we talk. It's about fellowship and giving back. Having vets come to me and thanking me for guiding them, whether it's the Warrior Care Network, WWP Talk, which is a service that they provide. When they come up to me and say, thank you, you've changed my life, you know, it's given me something to look forward to, it hits me hard. Being a vet, 20 years Navy. Also Special Olympics. I have a couple of good friends who have special needs kids, and both these young men were just the most tremendous, spectacular guys I think I've ever met in my life. They are just outstanding people, and watching them perform and, you know, be in these games, it helped me go, you know what, that's another organization I really need to help out with. So I got with Area 2 in South Texas, which is, and I joined the Law Enforcement Torch Run Committee, and we plan fundraising events, but I also get to go to the games and cheer on the athletes and help them out. So to me, it's something special.
Those are great programs I know well, and I think you just did a great job, Les, talking to us about this as well. I know the vets really appreciate and support it, and it's full circle, which I think you know that, and see those kids crossing the line. It's pretty cool. So well done. I'll let you hand that off. Round of applause. All right, sir. A little heavier than an M16. All right, the third volunteer award goes to another colleague whose volunteer support of various ministries across an intergenerational and multi-ethnic community shows his unwavering faith and love for the community. He and his wife currently oversee a ministry for college-age adults, and he also meets with students regularly to provide counseling to them. Our colleague is continuously giving of himself and is a role model for those young adults. Please join me in recognizing from the Management Director, Adam Reynoso. One's right over here. Get you on camera. Thank you. For 259,000 people. And he's from management. He's good with big numbers. So without naming names, Adam, can you tell us any stories about some of these young adults who've came in with a need, how you helped them, and where they're at today? No naming names, though.
No, it's fine. A lot of times just living a Christian life, just, you know, navigating what the world is today, and just kind of helping them, counseling through them. They need it. A lot of people need it, so we're just trying to do our best to just really just serve them the best way we can and just guide them, because those are turbulent waters. I think we've all been there, so just getting some counseling. Sometimes they're first generation born in the U.S. We get that, my wife and I, so we're just navigating through everything we can. So. Well,
it's a way to give back and look behind you or down a little bit for a helping hand. So thanks very much, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done. Back to you, Lori.
I'm pleased to introduce the Secretary's Champion of Equity Award. This award recognizes an employee who has excelled in efforts to promote diversity at DHS through outstanding leadership and innovation. It may acknowledge individual efforts exclusively within DHS or efforts with external partners who assist DHS in meeting our commitment to diversity.
We've got one equity award. I've given this out a few times. It's a really cool award. In its very first year, the Office of Trade Task Force for Women set the standard for achieving gender equity at Customs and Border Protection. It laid the foundation for a long-term effort to positively impact the Office of Trade and Culture and ensure greater inclusiveness and diversity. The task force raised awareness and educated both the Office of Trade and the greater CBP workforce on important gender equity issues, such as women's health, gender bias, domestic violence, sexual assault, and more. Please join me in recognizing to the front from Customs and Border Protection, Danielle Hightower and Tamika Solomon. Yep. Just one. And
Ms. Hightower couldn't make it, sir, so you have.
and where is this? Is Ms. Hightower going to be watching us by any chance? No, we don't know?
Not sure. Sir.
Okay, it's probably taped though, so that's all right. I'll hold this on. You take the microphone. So I've given this award a few times. It's really interesting. I've asked this question, and I've gotten a different answer every single time, which is, how have you seen the impact of your task force help and positively influence women in CBP and in your task force, in your office?
Thank you for asking, sir. So in my role as one of the leaders of the Office of Trade, I've seen this program help women in various ways, from leadership development, also to providing an area for psychological safety. They feel safe to talk to us about issues they're having, and being able to take that information and actually use it to develop policy, which we have in the Office of Trade. We have a policy now that makes our panels for hiring diverse. We've also had efforts that focus on retention. So not only making sure we're bringing in a diverse workforce, but once we get them in right, we're treating them well, and we're making them feel part of the CBP family and helping celebrate the DHS mission of 20 years, making them feel a part of that mission.
Well, and just spoken like a true leader that you are, you're an exemplar. Number one, in terms of creating the program, but number two, just literally existing, right? So when I've heard this on employee association, organizations on ERGs, employee resource groups, Blacks in Government, Veterans, Pride, folks will look out from the outside and go, okay, there's an organization, and just to be fair, DHS, CBP in general, folks aren't always just, is there a place for me there? And if they know that this kind of inclusive organization exists, then they go, I think there might be. So thanks very much. Round of applause. Tamika, I'll give you that. We'll make sure Danielle gets hers as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. However you want to.
Our next award is the Secretary's Award for Leadership Excellence for an individual. This award recognizes one employee who exemplifies the Department of Homeland Security's leadership philosophy, principles, and core values of integrity, vigilance, and respect. Has led an effective team to achieve results, inspires and motivates others by example to work collaboratively and creatively, and mentors personnel toward their highest potential. Sir.
Thank you. We have one leadership award, and this goes to an Assistant Field Office Director. He led immigration in Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The ERO facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi, while also performing the duties of an acting unit chief with the Detention Operations Coordination Center. This person, his colleagues' leadership and ability enabled him to successfully manage all of these responsibilities and provides motivation and inspiration to others. Please join me in recognizing up here at the front from ICE, Robert Hagan. So, Robert, we want to take a look at your Outlook schedule and how you balance all these things. I read your longer form description as well. You're managing a lot. What's your secret sauce to managing all of these things as a leader?
Well, I guess the first thing is having leadership above you, that trust in you and what you do.
That's a fair point.
So once you have that, then you can explicit it down to the people that you're leading and encourage them to successfully complete the mission that's at hand. And being at the SBCC, you get to work hand in hand with all the
DHS components, Border Patrol, USCIS, FEMA, it was last year with FEMA, CBP, OFO. So it's just an honor to be able to work with everybody, be able to push it back down, and try to set a good example for the next one to come in, because I'm not going to be there forever.
Yeah, well, you know, well, this is why folks like you, Robert, and others here, you are exemplars. That's why we're taping it. That's why we've asked others to come and see. It's like, you know, I can be like Robert Hagan. I can have great support from up top, but, you know, you have to take that support.
Also, family support.
Roger that.
Kids, wife.
Yes, it's a whole balanced thing. It's pretty holistic. And to be able to then enable, empower, and resource those who work for and with you. So we're lucky to have you on the team, Robert. Well done.
Thank you.
There you go.
Next, we have the Secretary's Award for Leadership Excellence for a Team. This award recognizes a team or organization that exemplifies the Department of Homeland Security's leadership philosophy, has implemented practices, policies, products, opportunities, and resources in an effort to put DHS employees first, creates an environment that encourages teamwork, and fosters employee engagement and satisfaction.
Super. There's one leadership team award. Many volunteers served temporarily in support of Operation Allies Refuge and Operation Allies Welcome, as well as in support of CBP to help manage the increased flow of migrants crossing the southwest border. So those are two really big operations that actually I, as the Deputy Secretary, help lead and ask for volunteers across our entire DHS enterprise workforce. So thanks to this team's exceptional leadership, DHS was able to meet challenges of these extraordinary operations through the DHS volunteer workforce. Please join me in recognizing at the front from Citizenship and Immigration Services, Ruben Florido. Ruben. So Ruben, you know, I just described it. We asked a lot of the volunteer force. How did you manage all of that? Because we were, in some cases, I was asking multiple times.
Yeah, just making sure you're listening to the field, see what they're doing, what their challenges are, and what their priorities are, and just making sure that whenever you're leading them, that your priorities align to theirs.
Did you hear of any of those stories coming from the border or from OAW that, you know, it's like, hey, these volunteers, I met a bunch of them. Did they ever come back and tell you this is what we got done?
Yeah, for the most part, I think every single deployment that I've been on, I was able to meet somebody that it positively impacted somebody out there with the work that they've done.
Anything from OAW?
From OAW, yes, from at some of the lily pad sites and at the Dulles and Camden, Jersey site that we were at, just being able to greet with the Afghans coming in and seeing how our work impacted them directly at that moment that we were there.
Yeah, about 80,000 Afghan allies, as Ruben certainly knows and others do as well, got them out of harm's way from Kabul, brought them over to the United States of America once they cleared through the pre-screening that CBP, TSA, USCIS, and others set up forward in Germany, Europe, and the Middle East. And they came over here, and out of those 80,000 Afghans, 98% of them have been relocated, and partially because of you, Ruben. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. That one done? Good job. We'll see you in Gripper Grand later.
Thank you.
Roger.
Now we present the Secretary's Meritorious Service Silver Medal Award. This award is the second highest award presented by the Secretary and recognizes outstanding leadership, superior public service, or unusually significant contributions to strengthening Homeland Security. New to this category are GS-11 and wage grade 8 employees serving in administrative, technical, clerical, and general support positions. This award may recognize a body of work regarding remarkable innovation or notable resourcefulness and diligence that improve the effectiveness of one or more DHS missions.
We've got 3 silver medals. The first one goes to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement HSI Philadelphia 50 Lashes Investigations Team that targeted internet relay chats that predators use to advertise and distribute child sexual abuse material, CSAM. This is the largest and most successful CSAM investigation ever prosecuted by the Department of Justice, and it resulted in the arrest of 17 foreign and domestic administrators and 3 private internet relay chat networks being shut down. Unfortunately, I don't know if Greg giving me the thumbs up or down. Laura Gill, I don't think Laura Gill's here, so please join me in a round of applause. The second silver medal. This goes to the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Protective Security Advisor, who took proactive action in response to the Uvalde shooting in May 2022. This PSA, Protective Security Advisor, assembled a working group with several stakeholders to review the incident, identify potential gaps, and develop preventive mitigation strategies and reporting thresholds to prevent future tragedies. Now, I think Lou Doe is not here? Not here. So Lou, please, round of applause for Lou Doe. A great PSA in CISA. The third and final silver medal goes to the Operation Allies Welcome Unified Coordination Group. This is OAW, as Ruben and I just spoke about. The OAW UCG worked to coordinate the U.S. government's effort to welcome and resettle Afghan refugees following the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. This team helped shift the U.S. government resettlement system from handling less than 10,000 refugee resettlement cases per year to a projected 100,000 in a year. The OAW UCG team went above and beyond to serve those who stood along the United States of America. Please join me in recognizing from the Office of Health Security, our former Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Pritesh Gandhi. Dr. Gandhi, Pritesh, congratulations. I'll hold on to this while you talk to us about this. I got to see Pritesh in action up at the headquarters, and not just headquarters. It's like, okay, sir, you saw him in the hallway sorts of things, but in and around the National Capital Region where you were running hospitals, you were running hotels that we were converting into holding places. Back then, I would see him at a hospital or over Dulles Airport. Then the next day I'd get on a call and he'd be in a helicopter somewhere going off to do great things. A lot was happening pretty fast. How did you put your head around all of this, and what are you most proud of in all of this work at the OAW UCG, Dr. Gandhi?
Sure. It was an incredible time in our nation's history, right? Kabul had fallen, and we had a commitment to Afghan allies to bring them here. And I think, required a huge team. When Kabul fell, I remember being on the phone with our deputy CMO, Herb Wolf, and we made the call. We knew when Kabul fell that DHS would be called to act, that we would get the baton one way or the other, because that's what DHS does, am I right? And so that evening, Dr. Wolf deployed to Dulles, and I got on the phone with the rest of our Office of Health Security team, and people reprioritized, and people said bye to their families, and they went to Dulles, they went to Philadelphia, and overnight we stood up a national response to an international event. That was really exciting. And I'll tell you that the week after, I found myself in the basement of St. E's with Bob Fenton from FEMA. And that man, first of all, is a magician, but he put up a whiteboard, and over the ensuing days, we built out what would be an enduring impact. I'm most proud of the fact that 80,000 Afghans came from a country that is really top 5 in the world for measles and polio. And there was a real concern that we may seed thousands of cases of measles and polio, and would be one of the largest measles outbreaks in the United States. I'm really proud to say there was not one singular case of measles amongst the American people as a result of this incredible team that worked hard. That's a once-in-a-lifetime gig, and just thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, it's good to see you again, Pritesh, a real true hero for the nation, in particular to the OAW UCG. So proud to be here with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Make sure you stick around for a photo.
I will.
All right. Good job, man. Great to see you. You look great.
Thank you.
Introduce the Secretary's Exceptional Service Gold Medal Award. This is the highest award for service granted by the Secretary of Homeland Security. The award honors exceptional leadership or service that is distinguished by achievements of unique national or international significance, reflecting great credit on the department by markedly improving the security of our homeland. The Secretary may present this award to an individual or to a group.
We have one gold medal. It goes to the Customs and Border Protection's Traumatic Incidents and Events Response Team, also known as the TIER team. They swiftly deployed to the Uvalde Border Patrol Station without reservation to support a community in desperate need of friendly faces and helping hands after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School last year. The team conducted crisis management briefings to help those impacted to emotionally process the event. This team exhibited kindness, compassion, flexibility, and eagerness to all they encountered. The team worked long hours to deliver healing in a difficult situation. The TIER team displayed exceptional leadership and service, distinguished by their achievements with CBP employees, families, and the Uvalde community. Please join me as I call your name, and coming to the front from CBP, Ismael Arola Jr., Dustin Garza, Anthony Rodriguez, Dawn A. Terrazas, and Monica Williams. So we've got three. We've got 3, 4. Looks like 4. Okay. Okay, got 3. And unable to join us today, I think, right, is Daniel Benavides, right? Not here. And Travis Inman, also not here. Okay, round of applause for those 2. Okay, we will hand this off. Ismail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great job. Well done. Handshake, great job, Ismail. Dustin? Great job. Well,
Thank you.
Well done. And we'll get you the certificate later. So good. What's her name?
This is Izzy.
Izzy. Okay, great. So difficult situation. How did you help the community heal in that hard time?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we as a TIER team, we're made up of chaplains and peer support members throughout CBP. And what we do is we respond to national incidents like Uvalde. And this specific event, we went and took care of our people. All the Border Patrol agents who were there, all the families who were involved, because a lot of Border Patrol agents, their families go to school at that school, their teachers there. So we took care of the community and we took care of our people. And specifically, obviously the Border Patrol, but also the local law enforcement and the state law enforcement, everybody who is involved. We like to take care of everybody.
Well, thanks. Know that certainly the community thanked you. I'm sure they continue to thank you. And know that the Department of Homeland Security and the nation thank you for doing that and stepping forward in that time of need. So well done.
Thank you.
Finally, we present the Secretary's Award for Valor. This award is the highest recognition for extraordinary acts of valor occurring either on or off duty. The employee will have demonstrated selfless response by performing courageously in a highly dangerous or life-threatening situation to protect another's life or to save significant assets or infrastructure from harm.
We're going to do 2 Valor Awards, and these will be our last awards. The first Valor Award goes to an ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, deportation officer who dove into his apartment complex's swimming pool and saved a child from drowning with no regard for his own safety or well-being. He was able to rescue the child and perform CPR on them until the emergency rescue services arrived. So please join me in recognizing to the front Ezra Gonzalez. So Ezra, I'll hold on to these. And look, this is that was a probably crazy time in that moment. Can you tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind, or perhaps not going through your mind when you dove into that pool?
So actually, it was the evening of June 6, 2022. I was stepping out of my apartment to go buy ice cream for a family event that we were having. At that time, an unknown subject was yelling for help near the community's pool. It just went on. Took action through the training of ERO and my experience. I was able to act and pretty much perform my duties at that particular scene, and help the child and save him.
You know, Ezra, I've read the longer form of this. Ezra is being modest, which would make sense. You just said to perform your duty. Your duty is an important duty for the nation. You're an ICE deportation officer. You work for the Department of Homeland Security. You safeguard the American people, our homeland, our values. But that moment, your duty was to go get a pint of vanilla or whatever you were going out to get. What is it? What was the ice cream?
It was actually vanilla.
It was vanilla. Okay. That was good. I'm a big Talenti vanilla guy, too. Then you put a bunch of stuff on it. But, that was your duty. But you stepped outside that duty, that small household task, to step in and save the life of a child. And for that, certainly the child is thankful. And then we, as your fellow Americans, feel better, we'll go to sleep better knowing that there are folks like Ezra Gonzalez out there. Big round of applause. Take that. This beautiful trophy. There you go. Good job, Ezra. We'll see you later. Well done. And I'm relatively sure, just because we had done some coordination ahead of time, don't think we have anybody here for this next Valor Award. So no one's here for this. So I'll just read it. I'll read their names. We'll do a round of applause and we'll close the ceremony. So the last award today is the second Valor Award that we'll be presenting. And these are for agents responding to the active shooter call at Robb Elementary who displayed bravery and valor above and beyond the call of duty. Their swift response demonstrated the depth of their agent training and preparedness. These agents' actions brought credit upon themselves, the Department of Homeland Security, their community, and our nation. While they cannot join us today, I would ask all of you to please give a round of applause after I read all of their names. 3 of them from U.S. Customs and Border Protection: Warren Becker, Paul Guerrero, Christopher Merrill, and from Immigration Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, Matthew McCormick. Let them hear you. Big round of applause.
Thank you to all of our plank holders and awardees for sharing your talents, making a commitment to public service, and representing the department in the highest manner. Let's have another round of applause for everybody who was awarded today. Any closing remarks for this group?
Yes, my only closing remarks are to the folks who are assembled here today, to the awardees, to the plank holders, to the veterans, to the family members. Thanks for coming out today, because oftentimes when you get an award, it's about the team, it's about others. I was just doing my job, but it is because of you stepping forward, being fantabulous, doing the teamwork and technology, inspiration meeting patriotism. It's because of that that you lifted it to the next level, and it's actually your duty to be recognized in front of your peers, in front of all of us, so that we can continue to be inspired to do our jobs even better. So that next year, we'll have another 1,300 folks who will sit in rooms like this and be recognized for doing what's best for America. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today in person and online. This concludes our ceremony. Plank holders and awardees, please, with your guests, join us out in the hallway for photographs with the Deputy Secretary. Thank you.
And as a caveat to that, if we could get the award winners first.